So welcome to this analysis of the USA versus Chile. This game took place in the Women's World Cup in Group F, and the USA ended up coming out on top with a 3-0 victory. I want to mention that I'm more focused on key moments in the game and chances created and how them chances came about, and just some very individual things like what players did well or didn't do well in certain situations. So I focus on them things more so than a whole team tactical analysis. So we'll go ahead and jump into this first clip here, which starts with the US. So into this first piece of footage here, and the first thing I want to point out is just how wide the US are here. Both wingers are literally out on the two bylines. If you take a look at how narrow Chile are trying to stop the US playing through the middle. The thing about the US is they're very strong out on the wing, so as you'll see in this first clip how good they actually are playing down the wing. They create the first chance of the game easy enough, and how they don't score from it I don't really know. She ends up hitting that off the post back to the keeper. But that kind of shows you a sign of things to come. The US get a lot of joy through their wing play, but mainly due to just how clever their wingers are, and you'll see some of that in the rest of the clips. Next clip, and just some patient build-up play here from the US. I just want to point out again how wide these two wingers are, really trying to stretch the whole width of the pitch. They play a few more passes here around the back, and I just want to throw your eyes to this girl in the centre midfield here. She knows the ball's coming out to this left wing, and she can see that she can move into this little pocket of space, so just watch her. Ball comes into her, she plays a first time pass down the line. It's a great challenge from the Chilean defender, but it's just them little clever moments from the US that give them so much success down the wings. We move on into the first example of how Chile could have done a lot better on counter-attacks. They get a good breakaway from a corner here, and if this girl slips this into this forward's path, it's a 1v1 against the US's last defender, and they end up coming down this right side here, and you can see this girl receives the ball. Just look at her after, she ends up losing it, but she's clearly a quite willing runner, and if she had received that ball into her path, you probably would have backed her to try and run at the defender, and if she beats her, she's through on goal realistically. So it's just them decisions from Chile, especially in a lot of counter-attacking situations throughout the game. You'll see they just make the wrong choices. Into this next play here, and it really shows the emphasis the US put on trying to drag players out of positions. If you just keep an eye on this girl here and watch how she backpedals into the space behind her just to drag a defender with her. Now if you look at this girl here, how she comes towards the play to create a little pocket in behind her, and this is the reason why this ball ultimately gets played into this position, because this girl looks up, sees the pocket, doesn't pull the pass off, but this Chilean defender should knock this ball into this area or in behind her. The one area you don't want to knock the ball is down to the centre of your goal. Just gives your opponent a good chance to have a first time strike, or else just create another good attacking opportunity, and as you'll see, it's an absolutely brilliant finish, but I think it's more due to the Chilean defender not dealing with the ball correctly. It's different if you're challenging the air, you don't have as much control over it, but she wasn't even challenged there, and she just ends up knocking it down into the wrong position. We're into our first dangerous set piece of the game here, and for this first time round I just want you to keep your eyes on the two free kick takers. We will go to this girl the second time around, but for the first time just keep your eye on these two here. Watch how they dummy the ball twice just to try and get the US to push up that yard or two so that they can get their runner in onside and into score a goal. But if you just watch here, here's the first dummy, here comes the second dummy, and the third time they play it. Now she's offside, and we'll replay this back, and this time I want you to focus on this girl here in the middle and just watch how she keeps her eye on the ball, and she's not phased by the girl in front of her moving around. She doesn't go where she doesn't go where the first time, doesn't go where the second time, doesn't go where the third time, and the third time when they do play it is when she's actually caught offside. Doesn't go, doesn't go, doesn't go. And there you go. And that's a very good thing to teach young players, is to keep their eye on the ball in them situations, because The other team are just trying to grab them extra yard or two, and it's actually really good play from the whole back line not to go with any of the dummies there. Because if someone steps up, then she ends up being onside. And if we take a look back at this picture here, it's not actually too much in the distance that she's offside. And if one of the US players there ends up going with them dummies or with the movement, that gains them extra yard or two, and that ends up being a goal really. So it's really good play from the US back line there. We move into a corner here for the US, and the rest of these kind of clips will showcase how strong they are as set pieces. The first thing you'll notice is this big zone here at the front post, and this US girl ends up meeting the cross and getting on the end of it, but this girl on the line actually ends up coming off the line, so I don't understand why she just doesn't defend the space anyway, because if you watch here, she came off that line there, so she might as well be guarding that space in front of her, because if you're going to do that, you might as well just guard that big large space. But it's great work from the US and bad defending from Chile. Into another set piece here, and this is where we really start to get into how strong the US are at set pieces. You see this big zone here again, but this time the US have a trick up their sleeve. You can see Chile think the exact same thing is going to happen, but they end up going to the middle and creating another goal. And this is where we're going to a segment of play here, just showing how strong the US are from set pieces, that they can swap things up like that and you not notice them, and they just do it with such high quality. We move into a dangerous set piece here for the US, and there's something that I want to compare between the last goal we seen from the corner, that first cross that was delivered to the front post but called back because the referee hadn't blown a whistle, and this next cross. It's something that the person delivering the ball in does with their arms, and if you can pick up on these things, I know they can swap their arms throughout matches, but if you can pick them up from the first two set pieces, they're probably not going to change it throughout the game. That one goes to the back post. So now we'll go into looking at what she does with her arms that's noticeable between all these crosses. Take a look here and you can see that she has her left arm up, which is her arm that's furthest away from where the players are, which you'll see in the clip kind of indicates that she's going middle to back post. So if we bring this clip in here now, you'll see that this gets delivered to the middle kind of back post. And now if we go back and take a look at that last free kick and take a look at her arm, you'll see that she has her right arm up this time, which is closest to where the play is. And then if we roll this clip on, it goes to the near post. Now if you take a look at this second time they rerun this and take a look at what arm that she has up, it's her arm furthest away, which indicates again it's going middle to back post, just like the corner kick goal that went in to the middle post. She put her backhand up here, so this one goes to the back post and creating a good chance out. But it's just something that the US, you can kind of notice front and back post. It's just a simple thing with their arms, and if coaches and managers can pick up on them things early on in the game or looking at other games, it's something that you could defend against. This next segment kind of showcases why communication is so key in football, and Chile kind of have a breakdown in communication here, or more so probably a lack of communication. The ball's going to fumble around here on the left side, and it eventually comes into the middle here. And if this girl gets a shout to turn out, she can turn out into this pocket of space behind her, and Chile can spring an attack down this right side. And even this girl here has a better view of the whole pitch and should be screaming at her for it to turn out. But she obviously doesn't get a call from either of these players, and she ends up going back into this little area here. See, Chile have to notice that they've dragged the US into this area of the pitch and that they can play out of it, but they don't realise that situation just through communication, I think it is. And they end up coming back here, and the US give them a little press and they just give it straight back to them. But it's something that the Chile should have noticed in that situation, just a bit of communication. This next clip is very similar to the last one in that I just think it's a lack of communication and maybe a little bit of lack of understanding as well. The ball kind of gets played around here, but if this girl notices that she's going to turn out, she'd make this run. She ends up not making it, and that girl really should turn out. She has the space, but they go back into this area once again. It kind of just plays into the US's hands. They go along with it again, and this time the US get the ball down and create a really good chance out of it. She ends up being called for offside, but it's just a simple call again can change both of them situations that happened. We move into another great counter-attacking opportunity for Chile here. A US girl just miscontrols the ball here, right there, and they get themselves into a 3v3 situation. I don't understand why she doesn't drive at the girl right in front of her here and the two girls make a run off the ball. If you drive at her and you skip by her, it's a 3v2 in your favour. Or if she slows you up, hopefully by that stage, one of the two players on your left and right side have made a decent run that you can slip a pass into them on the through on goal. But they just end up doing neither of these things here. And the two runs are terrible by the girls off the ball, and she just drives into space that's there, but it's not at the defender. It's just into it for the sake of it, and they play a hopeless ball forward, and it's comfortable enough for the US to deal with. But you really have to be making better decisions there between the three girls up front. In this next clip, it kind of shows the more individual talent from the US. I just wanted to keep an eye on this gap between these two defenders here, between the centre back and right full. And now I just want to keep an eye on this US winger here and just watch how she steps out to the right and a bit up, and how it just makes that gap a lot bigger. Just keep an eye on how she steps out here. And how much that she's made that gap a lot bigger. Now the centre back is concentrated on the ball and hasn't looked to her right here to see how big this gap actually is. And when we play this clip on here now in a second, you'll see they try to close the gap, but by that stage it's too late. And it's just really great movement from the US winger here, and they realistically should score. It's a great save from the Chilean keeper, but she does them things naturally. She's not thinking about them movements there. It's just something she's done naturally before, and she creates a great chance of dragging that fullback and centre back apart. So just another quick clip here of that exact same player just backstepping off just to create a chance for herself. It's a great ball in and it's a great strike. But it's just another intelligence from that winger. Just them 2 or 3 steps off, knowing that the ball's going to come to her. Into another dangerous attack here for the US, and this girl Christian Press that I highlight, the last 2 clips have been on her. She's created but 2 chances from her movement, and she creates another great chance here from, she comes inside, she checks out to the wing and receives the ball. And it's something that if Chile had it might have done on the counter attacks, they could have been more successful. She comes inside here and she ends up clipping the post, but she didn't get a goal or assist on the day, Christian Press, but she really deserved them. She was probably one of the US best players. Kind of another example here of Chile not communicating very well or just not defending well in general. If you keep an eye on that girl highlighted there, she comes inside here and she doesn't look over her shoulder to spot this girl or the space she's just left. Now if you look at this girl pointing at someone who's already marked and not looking at who's actually free in the box, it's just very weird. And we'll play this clip on here for a second and you'll see again that she continues to point at her. It's just a very strange thing to do, that she's not looking over her shoulder and she's pointing at someone that's already marked. She's still pointing at her, and now the girl that was actually marking her has noticed the danger here to her left and actually has to go and leave her player so that she can go and mark the danger zone. But it's more due to the girl that's pointing's fault that this chance gets created. And she probably should score there, but boy, that girl, and you can see them having a little conversation here afterwards, but that's where it came from, was her pointing and not picking up someone instead. Again, just a lovely piece of intelligence here from the US, and something that a lot of young players should realise they have to do, is just this little look over her shoulder here to her right. She knows the player is there, and when the ball comes into her, just a flick around the corner, and you probably should score, but It's just brilliant, brilliant work from the US there, and very smart. These next few clips aren't so much analysis of anything, but they have to be shown because they lead to an eventual penalty for the US. Just take a look at these two here, and she kind of has a little hold on her, and she's still grabbing onto her there. Now, I think she maybe goes down a bit easy. I don't think she actually trips her. I think she just feels contact and then, kind of goes down maybe a bit easy. But the referee checks for her, comes back out and gives the penalty. She ends up hitting the wide, which is maybe a little bit justified. I thought it was a little bit harsh, but nonetheless, there's a chance for the US there. Into the last clip of the game here, and Chile tried this kind of double dummy again, trying to push the back line, but they don't fall for it again, defend it really well, and that was kind of the last half decent chance in the game. And as the referee blows the full-time whistle there, I hope you've really enjoyed the analysis. I've really enjoyed making it, and my real reason behind making these videos is that the general viewer can just have a more in-depth look at matches like this, and also for coaches to pick up things that they can hopefully show to their players and their teams, and learn something from the videos. That's why I really like putting them up, is just the hope that someone can learn something from them. So yeah, subscribe if you'd like to see more of this type of content, and certainly if you have a game in mind, put it down in the comments below. And apart from that, I hope you have a very nice day, and I'll leave you with this beautiful shot of Paris with the Eiffel Tower in the background. Thanks very much for watching.